Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Experiential Moment. And I am with Alan Luke, and I have Master Teacher Lynne Nusyna. I said that right. I think I
Perfect, perfect.
did. I've been saying it a lot for the past 24 hours.
That's true.
Here at the Experiential Moment, we talk about business, we talk about how we do things experientially and how we can help you take your business to the next level by you experiencing this experiential journey and just the boost in your business. And it's all about the experience. But today we have a very special guest. So before we do this, I would love for Alan if you can introduce yourself, and then we will introduce Lynn there as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dianne. Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Luke from Toronto, and I am the alignment coach and clarity coach. So we help entrepreneurs, soul healers, to really understand their story, to really know their worth, and to find clarity in what they can do to really magnify their gifts, their talent to the rest of the world, to find their perfect clientele. So Dianne and I ran workshops to help uh, enlighten entrepreneur like yourself, so that to really allow them to find their true purpose, to go from where they're at to where they're gonna go. Right. So it has been an amazing journey. We know that after talking to a lot of the healers and entrepreneurs, one of the biggest roadblocks is they don't know their worth. They always have this mentality to give away for free. They don't have the confidence to charge, right? And really just believing what they're worth, because they have amazing gifts, right? At the end of the day, after providing a blessing, or working with their client, they seem transformation, but it's just they don't have that confidence, whatever it was. So I'm sure today we'll talk more about the soul marketing, which I believe is a very, very powerful concept. Is amazed me, because before I've never understood about soul level. I've always operate in a mind level, so that's really new to me. But I've just been loving the journey so far, and really being able to work with a lot of amazing people. So I'm so excited for the guest today, Master Teacher Lynn. I cannot wait to hear about her wisdoms, her knowledge, and the amazing, amazing soul marketing really been bestowed upon us by our amazing teacher, Dr. and Master Ji Fengsha. So I'll pass it over to back to you, Diane.
Well, thank you so much. I will introduce Lynn in a moment. So for those who know me or don't know me, well, you'll get to know me and get Alan and everyone as well. My name is Dianne Ojar. I am the experiential coach. I'm also a Dao Hands practitioner. Everyone here is a Dao Hands practitioner. And of course, we have Master Teacher Lynn as well. But this particular show, this series show has a lot to do with business, about your journey. We're adding many modalities, different types of modalities. We're going to talk about business karma, which is huge. Seems to be the topic of conversation for people to not understand. And who else is perfect to talk about it than Lynn here as well. And we also talk about soul communication. She's one of the teachers, and it was very profound. And I'm so pleased that she was here, that she could address this, you know, directly from someone who has authority and has been authorized to do so. So I want to say thank you so much, Lynn. But coming back to me in a moment, it's we really here to help you take you to where you need to be, and we will do our ultimate best to help you in every way possible on this series of shows to take your business to the next level. And it's not like just waking up one day and say we're going to be doing a business. Business is it's risky, it's a venture, and there's so many different adjectives you can possibly associate with business. And one of the things we focus on is soul marketing, and it's a new concept to maybe 99.9% of people, I would say, Lynn, because
Yes.
people really don't know. I'm going to leave that 1.1% for probably the ones who actually know it in our organization. but it's huge. And I know you've worked a lot with clients and you coming from the corporate world and so forth. But before we do it, I want to welcome all our guests. I want to welcome our audience. And for those who are catching us in the replay, please share it. If I were you, I would go back and really listen to what Lynn is going to say today in this conversation. You are going to find something in there. I hope and guarantee that you will find something that will resonate with you and you can share it with some as well. So let me thank everyone and please to catch us on the replay. So Lynn,
Great.
Lynn, I met Lynn, oh my God, 2013. And it's quite a journey when I had my other studio and we want to do a show because I was at the center. And, many years after, she's no longer physically working at the center, but she is a master teacher and she's also connected still with the center. Now, that's neither here nor there. We're not, just so as a disclaimer, we're not here to convince you of anything that we do or suggest anything. But what I'm saying to you, hopefully at the end of this show, there will be, again, some content in here that's like, maybe I need to find out more about this. You don't have to become a Dow Hands. That's not why we're here. We want to tell you share with you the modalities that we use to help us and help our clients. And when we help our clients, we also helping ourselves. That's the thing about energy. We work with a lot of energy and with healers. So I would say to you, please take a moment and really listen to this. If you're in a business, you want to hear about this. So, Lynn, welcome to the
Thank you.
Experiential Moment. Thank you so much for taking the time. So, why
Thank
don't you
you.
give us a little brief about who Lynn is?
Okay. So I'm really happy to be here with both of you.
It's
I'll
our
just
pleasure. Trust me, this is actually six years you're supposed to do this now.
yeah. Well, as I told you
Never later,
yesterday,
never.
divine timing, divine timing.
Divine timing. And
Divine
yes,
So
timing.
this is
congratulations
the
on your
right
book
time.
as well. And by the way, she's an author. So congratulations.
I have this book. This is my book. It's called Bringing. You can't see it very well because of the light, but it's Bringing Spiritual Wisdom to Your Daily Work.
Wow.
And it was this book with the foreword by Dr. and Master G. Gangshaw. And it was a book that I wrote really flowed. If you know about soul communication, you don't write a book, you just receive a book. So I received the teachings for this book, and it was all about how to bring the wisdom of the soul into the workplace.
Mm.
And excuse me. So, and my background, just so everybody knows, yes, I am a master teacher and have been for quite a long time. I've been started working with Master Shaw in 2003, so it's been quite a few years. And I've been a master teacher since 2009, an assistant teacher with him since 2006. And all the time that I was doing this, this was of course, my spiritual journey, and he has become both my spiritual teacher and healer as well, because I've done a lot of healing through being with Master Shaw myself personally. But when I met him, and for many years after that, I was working in the corporate world. I was sometimes a management consultant, and sometimes I worked at the leadership level, and I was director of education and organizational change in two pretty big corporations. I won't mention the names, but one of them is kind of a quasi-government organization. The other is actually a very big insurance company. So I worked a lot in the area basically of helping organizations to change. And helping organizations to change is really about helping people to change. First you come up with your strategy, where you want to go as an organization, and in both these cases, these two organizations where I was director of education and organizational development, one had to secede really from the government and become like what's called a quasi kind of government organization. So they had to change the mindset, the attitude, everything of the employees to a more private sector approach. The other one, the insurance company, was switching over into a new mode. They're a very successful, well-known company. It was when the banks came into the insurance business, which was around 1995, 96, something like that. So it kind of dates me, but that was another example of change management, helping an organization to become successful in a changing marketplace, a very big changing marketplace. So I have a lot of corporate background. And I also, as I said, worked as a management consultant for quite a few organizations. At the same time I was doing this, I was also working as a psychotherapist and counselor. I
Mm.
still am. I'm still a counselor, and a lot of the people that I worked with were people that either had their own business or were working inside a corporation and wanted to be able to talk to somebody that could understand, what their experience was like. So, fortunately, I had that experience and I could understand where people were coming from. Since 2011, when we founded the center in Toronto, the Healing Center in Toronto, I let go of my corporate life and focused on the center for quite a few years. And then I was asked to really become more of an independent teacher and to go and do outreach. So my focus has been literally that, just going out, meeting new people, teaching, doing presentations, and meeting a lot of people along the way. And this book, the Bringing Spiritual Wisdom to Your Daily Work, has really come back into the fore for me because I have been working and mentoring one-on-one a lot of people, especially women, that are having some difficulty integrating, let's say, their spiritual journey and their work life. And so this book actually speaks to that, so that we don't have to compartmentalize our lives. And also, I've been working with quite a few people to open their spiritual channels, because one of the things I do for Master Sha is I work for what's called the Tao Academy, and I teach people how to open their spiritual channels. So that's a portal that I work a lot with people to do that, and then learn how to apply that in your daily life, because those channels are there for us to use. We just have to develop them, realize our potential. So I use the teachings that are in the book, which I flowed quite a few years ago, and some new teachings. And I work with people one on one. And as you know, lately we aren't doing a lot of presentations out in the world, so to speak, but I've been doing quite a lot on Zoom and on Steamboat and all the various devices and technology. So I'm still getting out there. And it's been I find that people, especially people that have careers, and it doesn't matter what the career is or what the business is. Now, things are shifting and changing, and people are really opening up more and more because they're evolving, I think, spiritually, to have that conversation, which they weren't really. It was really more difficult, I would say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but now things are
Absolutely.
evolving, so we're having that conversation. So that was a little long, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm reaching out and
That's
working
okay.
with people.
That's
Yes.
okay. But thank you for that, because it's really, thank you. And there's no right or wrong, because it gives us, well, first of all, it edifies you. And congratulations for all your accolades,
Mm.
because it tells us that really you can have this conversation with us, what we want to talk about. And it's going to be a little bit open. We don't script anything here. It basically flows, is what it is. But one of the things when you mentioned there as well, and it just came to mind, and of course my mind is just flying right now, is people tend to, and agree, you can add to this, Alan, as well, or take away from it, is the fact that when people are transitioning from, the job, the 9 to 5, to a business, they don't realize there's some things that leading them inside. And we're not going to say this is all spiritual. There's no, by means, but we're always guided all our lives. One of the things people may or may not understand is the fact that when they transition from a job, they're very scared to being an entrepreneur. And sometimes they disassociate one from the other in terms of, their intuition or their gut leading them to another opportunity or venture. And they're scared out of their wits to take that jump and leap of faith. We've all been there. We've all been there. Do you see that a lot? I mean, these are questions that you see people are scared and say, and I know we talked about this. People always want to know the future. Should I go from here to here? Should I change my job? Should I be a business owner? And they want to know the future because of the unknown. They're scared of the unknown. You tend to see a lot of people don't understand that the both business and their gut feeling or they have a spiritual, the knowing channels and so forth are connected, or one is guiding the other. Obviously, do you tend to hear that or see that? Does that make sense? Okay, so in other words, if so, I know quite a few people saying, and I see it all the time on social media, that people say, I'm, should I leave my job and become a business owner? But what they don't realize is that if they listen to themselves, there's something in there telling them if they should. For the beginning, if they if actually thinking about it, that means they're being guided. But they don't trust it because they don't understand there's a connection there. They're disassociated because what they don't know. So do you have people coming to you saying that should I become I want to become a business owner, but I have a job. Should I do this? Without trusting themselves to and just taking that leap of faith.
You're asking Alan, right?
You,
Oh,
no,
you're
Alan,
asking
that's
me.
it.
Oh, okay.
No,
So
Alan
I'm
could
sorry.
add to that.
I'm
Alan could
Oh
wait.
yeah, yeah. I was actually waiting for
I
the
thought you were asking
Yes,
Alan.
Master teacher Lynn.
what am I
Um,
talking?
Okay, I'll jump right
Sorry.
in. Thank you, thank
Okay,
you,
so
thank you.
okay, yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Sorry about that.
And I was one of those people. Although I've always been very independent, but I took a risk, I suppose, although it didn't feel that way to me when I was quite young, and had a independent practice as a counselor, and I had another practice as a consultant. But it was a little bit of a different world then, and there were probably more opportunities than or certain kinds of opportunities. And so I didn't really worry about it too much, and I always just trusted. I really trusted that everything was going to be okay because I felt that I had something to offer, and I was really excited to explore new areas. Because when I started, I didn't think I'd work in the corporate world. I thought I was going to be a teacher in a community college or in a high school, because I took a degree in education and also in psychology. So the opportunity started to come to me without even soliciting them. Somebody asked me because I was working, I think, at Addiction Research Foundation, doing my internship as a counselor. And somebody came in and started talking about they wanted someone to do a presentation at such and such a place. And they said, well, why don't you try it? You'd be good at that. So I thought, okay, here's something new. I like something new. I'll do it. I know how to teach, so I'll do it. So that was my first presentation. And then someone that was at that presentation was a vice president in a corporation. And the next thing I knew, they were asking me if I would come in to help them work with their management group to teach them communication skills. So one thing kind of led to another, to another, to another. And a lot of that I'll say, and I think this is true for everybody, was because I had so much trust. I just knew it would be okay. I didn't have to worry that I was going to be led to where I needed to go next. And my career was like that. It was just one after another after another. I'd meet someone, I'd do a presentation, just like meeting you, Dianne, or anybody. We meet people, and if we're open in our hearts, to just see what's there, on the other side, then that's how we evolve as a person.
Mhm.
But I have to say the baseline was really this trust. And I know that people that are going into an independent business, especially if they have responsibilities, family responsibilities, it's not an easy adjustment, let's say. But it is, part of it is a mindset. You have to really have the mindset of, I'm going to do something, I have something to offer. I know that I can be successful and I will be successful. And then coming from the heart and feeling, having that trust. It's important for us to do these things. And it may seem like a bit of a risk in the beginning, but my experience with most people is when they have that feeling in their heart, that trust, that they usually do pretty well, just as I did. So that's been my experience. And I think that's true of other people. Perhaps you've experienced the same thing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can speak on that because like I'm also developing my spiritual channel as well. And one of the biggest thing that word always comes up is trust. Is it really the message that I'm getting from the higher source, or is it actually my mind making it up? So I need to trust myself more on that. And and like you said, it is about the heart, that the alignment between the soul, heart, mind, and body. When there's a alignment and when the heart opens up, then you tend to really just let go and just really surrender to that message. So maybe a question to you is, we know that trust is definitely very important in terms of business, and you're trusting your intuition. But at the same time, you trust something, you know that you want to get there, but all these negative thoughts, the monkey mind, that always the chatter, that's like, you know what? Yes, is you can do it, but however, this, and this. What can any people watching, or even myself, what can we do to help quiet down that negative mind always like all this talking and say, you cannot do it, maybe let's wait, maybe let's do this, right? What can we do to really allow that mind to quiet down so we can fully trust the process?
Well, one of the things, when my training actually and background was as being a cognitive behavioral therapist. That's what my training in psychology. In cognitive behavioral therapy, what you're trying to do and help your clients to do is to grab a hold of the patterns of their thinking. So I still think that's a good idea. That awareness is and understanding is kind of the first step. So if you can start to be more reflective and more conscious, more aware, we can use different words, of your thinking, you'll start to see patterns of thinking. Like you may not use exactly the same words, but they may, have the same result or the same focus. So it's things like, I can't do this, I've never been successful before. I don't won't be successful now. What'll happen? And a lot of things, you'll start to see certain patterns of thinking that will take you more in a negative direction. So that to me is the first step, is to grab a hold of that and then start to turn that around. So you become aware, you become conscious, you start to turn that around. So that's kind of one level. The other level is to put less focus on the mind, although the mind has its place, because there's a lot of wonderful things we can do with our mind. Our mind helps organize, structure things. But it's really from the teachings, as we know from Master Sha, the teachings of the soul, that it's really the heart that has the higher level of intelligence. We put our stock in our mind because we know it well, and it knows us well. It's often called our ego, or part of our ego.
Mm.
But when we start to really connect through our heart chakra, not just the physical heart, the heart chakra, open our heart more and connect to the wisdom that's there, that's coming from the soul actually, and from our experiences, then it helps us to really change our perspective. So before, when we were using our mind the most, you were kind of seeing life this way. And now we start to shift more into a heart focus, and we start to see things in a much different way. So it really will change your perspective. And the other part of that, in terms of quieting your mind, is to engage in some form of meditation. And there are mind-centered meditations, and the meditations that we do with Master Shah are more soul-centered meditations, as you both know, because you're Dao Hands practitioners. So when we connect at the soul level, then that in itself, starts to change our focus from the mind. A lot of meditative techniques focus almost solely on the mind. And we are taking it a step further and focusing on the soul. So awareness, understanding our patterns of thinking and how they can be self-defeating, and starting to change those, turn those around, and moving from the focus of the mind and focusing more at the soul level. And when we start to do that, then we're going to find that our whole life is going to change and shift, transform.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for that. One of the things I believe, as you talk about meditation, is the fact that I know when I started this many years ago, and you start hear about meditation, or the law of attraction, or so forth, you always hear about mind, body, and then soul. So we've been conditioned, and it's suggestive, of course, because being suggestive means that it's focused. This is what you hear. It's planted in your brain. That's what it was. It was mind, body, soul. It was mind, body, soul. That was all. I mean, everywhere you go, and basically, that's how we trained ourselves to think through the mind. We're
That's right.
talking, we're flipping this now and saying, no, 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 no. We have what we call, and we're going to just mention this for a moment, it's what we call Shen Qi Jin. SHEN is basically saying It's the soul is the boss, which is the information. Then we have the heart, then we have the mind, then we have the energy, and then we go into the body, the matter, which is physical. The idea behind that is now we have a very unique modality, and like it's almost like a secret where when we think about everything has a soul, we can get sort of direct our focus just like we did with the mind, body, and soul. Redirect, reprogram our brain into saying, hmm, if we have our unconscious mind, which is our gut feeling, our intuition, our spirit or breath of life, whatever you want to refer it as, if that is our core, because once we pass, it's gone, but maybe there's something to this because everybody has a soul. So if we could look at it, and we're not, again, I want to say as a disclaimer, we're not here to convince anyone, but we're talking about it. Think of it as, there is a science behind all of this. This is not about religion whatsoever, but there's a science behind all of this. So when we say, okay, have you ever had an experience where you're with someone and you don't have to talk, you just know there's a connection? Like with Alan and myself and Lynn and myself, there's a connection. So I don't have to say much. So if I could I could just look at Alan's face, and sometimes, and I've had this happen to me, where I could read through their eyes or their body language. And so that's a soul to soul connection. But what if, when Alan had mentioned when he came in before, and he had basically on Facebook, I mentioned anybody who wants to get a blessing and is here, he thought I was selling him something, but his soul led him to that particular. Alan knew me for 5 years. I didn't even know Alan. I didn't know Alan. He said we were connected. I did not know Alan, but it was that time, divine intervention, as you said. But the point is, this is soul to soul. So if we can do this with one person, what about our business? What about the market out there? Why would you talk a bit about the soul market and how we could reach out now on a deeper level? And one of the things we also, and I know we're going to go over on this show, and it's okay, is the fact that we also have what we call business karma. And we got to clean that up before we can do the soul marketing, because everything comes within us. What are your thoughts about that? There's two parts in there because they all mesh together. We're talking about business karma, but we got to clean up all that stuff, that the baggage and the ancestral, so we can have a clean slate when we're reaching out to our niche market and say, hey, come work with me, buy from me. I want you. But I can't bring all this baggage and stuff there. It doesn't work that way. What are your thoughts on that, Miss Lynn?
Okay. Well, first of all, you're right. If we're going to talk about karma, in our new Tao science teachings, we also talk about karma as information. So we know that, there's something called positive karma, negative karma. And we'll change the wording and say we have information that we carry with us into a life, so we're making an assumption also that we have more than one lifetime. So we carry those blockages from a past lifetime, and some of it is positive and some of it is good. And I think Dianne is still with us here. That when I was talking with Dianne yesterday, we were talking about how the ancestors plant the trees, but the descendants enjoy the shade. So what does that mean? That means our ancestors from this lineage, this life, and from other lifetimes, whatever they did, positive and negative, is going to affect us in this life as well, and our descendants the same way. So there's this long sort of trail of positive and negative information. So yes, we all carry some negativity, some more than others, related to our finances, related to our businesses, related to our relationships, our family. So there is a lot of negative information there. And the key to transforming that is turning it negative into positive, because we all want to have a lot of positive information or positive karma, is we do something called a forgiveness practice, which has been very popular. Many people talk about forgiveness, Oprah Winfrey, a lot of people. And so it's becoming more and more a part of the mainstream. And the way we've presented it, or Master Shah has presented it, and we in turn present it, is that you literally ask for forgiveness from those that both you and your ancestors, so both, have harmed and hurt in past lifetimes and in this lifetime. And when we talk about harmed or hurt, it doesn't mean killing or just killing, or it can mean a lot of things, because the way that we gather this negative information is actually more through our thinking than anything else. It's our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Most people think it's just the actions. And they're all surprised and saying, I'm a good person. I've led a good life. So how could I have this negative karma? Well, you have hopefully led a good life this life, and you're kind and you're loving. But it doesn't mean you've always been, and it doesn't mean that your ancestors always have been. So even a negative thought, an unkind thought, an unloving thought can harm another, and it will harm you. So when we do forgiveness, we're actually asking the other souls that we and our ancestors have harmed and hurt to forgive us for all that negativity, whatever it is that all we have done. And when they forgive us, if they can bring themselves to forgive us, and we have to do this a lot, not just once, and we have to do it, with humility and through the heart, authentically, then we're asking them actually to forgive us and our family members for all this negativity so that we can move forward. And in turn, we then forgive those that have harmed and hurt us and our family members unconditionally. So it's all about coming from the heart. Again, if you do it just in words or from your mind, then it's not going to reach the heart and soul of those souls that you're asking forgiveness from or offering forgiveness to. So sincerity is the key. And that's the first step, or really that's, I would say, the constant in clearing that negativity that we're talking about, is doing forgiveness.
Well, let's take that for a moment, and Alan, you can jump in here as well. It's just human nature. If we just say something because, and people will sense this, and people will know, and that's why we're talking about the soul, your intuition, your gut will feel this. If you're just saying something because you're saying, Alan, you know what? You look good today. And I was like, oh God, I don't know, think she. If I say, Alan, you look really good today, this and this, you could tell a difference if somebody says that. And people will know, and either they repel or they attract. Basically, it's bringing back, I use this word a lot, sexiness. And the sexy, it's the way you talk, it's the way you approach people. I'm not talking about a way in a way that's, most people think of the word, but it's an energy, basically, is what it is. So people know at the end of the day, you're being sincere. The Bible talks about it. We're not here about religion, but the Bible talks about forgiveness all the time.
Mhm.
And when you forgive someone, do you not feel good when you send a kind word from your heart? Do you not feel good? Heal your heart, open your heart, and you melt all blockages. And maybe the word blockages people don't understand, but some of the stuff that you go through, you just release it, and it clears up a lot. And now you can now say, and okay, now you've cleaned up all that stuff. You can go to the next level. Alan, what's your take or add on to what you would like to add to that before we talk about the soul marketing?
Yeah, for sure. So, what you said, the end definitely is a sincerity. So when you say something, the other person can definitely feel it. The rather is the tone of the voice, but they can just feel it, right? Sometimes it's just your gut feeling that like that person's sincere, right? So adding on to forgiveness practice. I mean, which I'm still trying to really go deep into forgiveness practice. And I know that there's a difference between just saying, oh, forgive, but really, but your heart doesn't mean it. It's like, oh, I still don't like that person, like which, we are all humans, right? And there's some people, there are people that are really just get on your nerves, oh, like, it's just, but it's definitely hard to really forgive from the heart, right? And that is definitely, that's why I've been taught that forgiveness practice has a lot of different layers. You might do it one time, okay, it does, okay, I done it, it's done. But you'll go deeper and deeper. And I remember there was one time I was doing it and actually like had tears coming down, and I think that was like the not just like the saying it. So I definitely can feel it, and I know that as I'm learning, as I'm really the heart, I feel like every day the heart just somehow get polluted. So it's always so important to really just purify the heart, really connect, right? Like, which I am still learning. So I'm not sure if Lynn has any wisdom to share, is to how can we really purify the heart, make us live more joyful every
Yeah.
day.
Well,
You know,
before you go there, something recently happened, and we were at that gathering, and I was talking to one of our master teachers, Francisco, and we were talking about something, and I said, there's a few people like just can't, and I don't know if I told Lynn this, I just can't listen to. I won't. And either they knock me out or they put me to sleep. And I just can't. And he looked at me and he's chuckling and laughing. You sure you know that means that you don't connect with them, right? There's a lack of connection. And I was like, huh? He said, yeah, there must have been something in the past that you just
Mm,
don't jive with them. And I was like, really? That's what it is, because I didn't think of it that way. Because either you resonate with people, you don't resonate with people, and that's why people, if they're marketing, coming back to the soul marketing, they have to market to the right people that they resonate with. It's not for everybody in their space because
exactly.
you don't have a connection with everyone in their space. But he was just laughing so much, and he said, "No, you have some blockages with them. You have some not good karma with them." I was like,
Mm,
"Okay." Now, I don't know these people. I know of them. I don't know them personally, or I don't know people in the past lives. And this is where we are saying you can't. And this is when they talk about niche, that you can't reach out to everybody because everybody is not your client. So, what are your thoughts on that? So now we can talk about the soul market, and now we'll clear up. And just to mention, like when we talk about Taoist science, we talk about the quantum physics behind it. There's a science and a backing up to everything that we're talking about. So it's not that we're just talking just because we're talking. Just to let people know that. So let's move forward into the soul marketing, where we're reaching out on the soul of the business, because we talk about businesses have soul. So we're talking now about the soul of the business.
hmm. I can speak to that a little bit if you'd like me to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the first time that I ever heard of soul marketing, it was really a creation of Dr. and Master Shaw's. And it's when he first started writing his books and needed to get them out into the marketplace, right? And he was like all of us, he started off unknown. And so he needed to get known. And so writing a book is a good way. That's why he encouraged all of us to write a flow of book, which we all did, we were his master teachers at the time. But he received this message from Divine, really, that the best way to market things is you have a good business plan. Just because we live in the physical world, so we need a good business plan, marketing plan, all those things that make for a good business. But we also need a good, we'll call it a spiritual strategic plan. And our spiritual strategic plan is that we want to connect with the souls that are literally waiting to get this information, because souls were and are waiting to get this information about soul healing, about soul wisdom, because everyone wants to heal themselves, or they want to be better, happier, healthier. So how do we get it out there? So he started to create this methodology called soul marketing. And we used to get together every single day, sometimes twice a day, and we would all chant together. And we would chant to all the souls. Literally, we connect soul to all the souls out there that are going to benefit from this book. Let's say the first book, I think, was Soul Wisdom book, one of the first books, Soul Wisdom. So he's putting out the Soul Wisdom book. So we would connect to all the souls, dear soul, heart, mind, and body of all the souls who want to know more about soul communication, who are interested in soul wisdom, or we could say whatever we want, basically, and on the planet. Or we could target a city. We could say the city of Toronto, or that buy books at Barnes and Noble, or buy books at Indigo or at Amazon. So we would connect with all those souls, and then we would start to chant to connect with their hearts, heart to heart, soul to soul. And that's what we did every day. There was groups of people, most of them were teachers and students, of course, and we would chant and do soul marketing. And lo and behold, Master Shah is now the best-selling author of like 30 books. And that wasn't that long ago. We're talking about the early 2000s. And so his books, we're talking about now best-selling books. So then, what everybody learned was that connecting soul to soul actually is stepping everything up, to a higher level. And so when we do soul marketing, we can do soul marketing for anything, as long as it's in service to humanity. So we're not going to do soul marketing, for some gambling venture or to sell lottery tickets or something like that. We're going to do soul marketing for services and businesses that literally are going to serve humanity, to help people to be happier and healthier. And so then it works in alignment. You have to work in alignment with the souls. It has to come from, what are called the 10 das, the 10 highest quality: love, care, compassion. And we want people to be happier and healthier. So we know our business is going to serve them. So it's where you're coming from, who you're targeting it to. And if you want to narrow it, and just target a certain audience or a certain customer, you can do that. But it's the soul connection, which is the key. And it worked well for Master Shah, and it's worked well for everybody that's used it.
And thank you. And one of the key things is being persistent and don't believe it's just, click your heels and it's going to happen. No, you have to do the work. You have to do the work and it will manifest. And this is what, you know, not to disrespect anybody's craft or work they've done, is when we talk about the law of attraction, people think you just sit down there and you close your eyes and you manifest it. It doesn't work that way. There is another part to the law, the secret. It's called the pass it on, where they actually do the work. um, in regards to following up from that, and we just have to say yes. Being a business owner, it's a constant work, but while you're working on your business, you're also working on yourself. You're working on your business, you're working in your business, because sometimes you have to work in your business until you can outsource the different departments and tasks. But you're working on yourself, because again, the personal life is connected to the business life. There's no disconnection per se, except we don't talk. You have to court before you get married. Don't marry and then court. Well, you can, but however, there's a flow to this, right? So what are your thoughts, Alan? What Anything else you want to ask Lynn?
Yeah, so I want to mention back the word to trust. The soul marketing, which I starting to read the book Soul Over Matter, which I'm more exposed to the soul marketing. It seems like it's so simple. Okay, it's just like
It
that's it.
is.
It's just so simple, but
It
it
is.
works. So it's all about
Yeah,
trusting the process
it
and
is.
then really connecting with it, right? And from a
Yes.
heart
Yes.
level. So, um, yeah. So thank you, Lynn, for really sharing that wisdom. Which sometimes it's so simple that the mind think, are there more to that, or it's so simple, right? So
Well, we as humans
It
make things
is.
more complicated than it is. And Alan, if you go to page 69, to just something. I
yeah.
actually, it's the part where they start with the soul marketing part of it,
Mm,
and then there's a 10 dollars, and it's the invocation. And it's not that if you on your mind, sometimes when we talk about forgiveness practice and so forth, for those who understand, and if you don't understand, it's fine. But then you can always have a conversation with us if you wish. Is the fact that regardless if you fumble the words from your mind, your soul knows what you're looking at or what you're talking about, or maybe you're just tired, and sometimes I do it late, but sometimes doing things late is not always the best, because then you can't sleep. Trust me, I know that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I just to make a statement, Master Shah, he started off with all of his teaching with this statement, which is heal the soul first, then
Mhm.
healing of the mind and body will follow. But if you just take that statement and then you change it, you say, speak to the soul first, and then the mind and body will follow. So connect with
mm,
the soul first, and then the mind and body will essentially follow. The actions will follow.
yeah.
They'll buy your products, they'll use your services, they're whatever it is that you want to get out there. So everything really starts at the soul level. So that's what we need to do. But and you're right, totally, Alan. It is so simple, but it is so profound. And if you do it, you get better at it. The more sincere you are, you use the word sincere, and it's absolutely the right word. Your sincerity, your heart connection, your soul connection is going to make the difference. Not the words; it's the connection.
Mhm.
And again, coming back to you, and thank you for sharing that. And coming back to what we're saying, if you're not breathing anymore, it's not your mind's shut down, it's your spirit, your soul is no longer there, because that's what holds. That's how you it pumps everything. It's your every being. It's every thought. You don't think with your mind. You think really with your soul. Your soul is just giving the message, and then of course it go to the body to process it. So all we're saying here right now is that we would like for you to just stop for a moment, listen to this show again on the replay, analyze some of the things. If you don't understand, a lot of this is not on YouTube, and some of it is on YouTube. There's a lot of Master Show on YouTube. There's a lot of us on YouTube. How you interpret is another story. But you're going to have questions. We still have questions on the science side and the factual side and the spiritual side. We always have questions. We're always in training because you always have to learn more. Because every time you move up the ladder, you want to know more and more and more. Because then your journey becomes, it's deeper and deeper and deeper, and you can fine tune. So all we're saying is just check it out. What are your thoughts, Lynn, as we wrap up here?
Try it. We're going to have to guide people in on how to do this, but try it. Everything is comes with experience. When you try something, Master Shah used to use the phrase all the time: if you want to know if the pear is sweet, taste it. If you want to know if soul marketing works, try it. So that to me would be the greatest direction I could give anybody at this moment.
Lovely. Alan, what are your final thoughts?
For me, is I'm definitely gonna try more and do more of it, and be more sincere about it, and connect with my heart deeper as I do the forgiveness practice, do the soul marketing, to really help spread my, spread my business to the rest of the world. So thank you so much. I definitely learned so much from this session today.
And Lynn, just so everyone out there, Alan and myself and another girlfriend, we're working on the experiential coach team. They're the experiential team. So we're bringing all these different components together in regards to, Alan is the alignment coach, Rose is the declutter coach, I'm the experiential coach. And of course, we have all these different components, and we're working to do all these things. And yes, soul marketing is definitely, but one of the key things we wanted people to first understand is their worth. Without understanding their worth, it's really very challenging for them, and they wonder why. And I do different things, like the elephant in the room myself. It helps them understand why their worth was taken away from them, or what there was some attachment and detachment, and all the things we do. So we are working with that together collectively, so now we can take it out there. So I would like to thank Alan and Lynn definitely for coming out and sharing this knowledge and wisdom with us. Again, we're not here to convince anyone, but if you have a question, put it in the comments and we'll check the comments, on the replay. Really pay attention to what we just said here. It can literally change your life. It can change your business. It can change your way, your financial freedom, your retirement, and everything else. If you want to get a hold of Lynn, please do catch her contact information, our contact information. And I just want to say to everyone who joined us, thank you so much. And, next time we'll have more and more coming in to help you with your business. But I just want people to know there's four parts as far as I'm concerned: the physical, emotional, the spiritual, and the mental. So keep that in mind, and those have to balance. So you can't have one without the other, because then your house will be lopsided. And by the way, Lynn is also a master at the Akashic Records reading and more,
Yes.
soul communication. So this is even deeper than most people understand. But we just want to give you a little taste first for you to understand this. But if you understand maybe 0.1% of what we said today with the soul marketing, just for your mind and your soul and your unconscious mind to open up to be aware of this, you're way ahead of a lot of people. Do you guys agree or disagree on that?
Agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can be the 99 point, what was I said, 0.8%
One.
for the one of the point ones.
Mhm.
I'm not kidding you. It's to me as a business owner, it's fascinating. It's really fascinating. But I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot of work has to be done. Just don't believe it's going to happen overnight. It is simple, but it's what we call persistent. And sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable, or Alan holds myself accountable, and so forth. And thank you, Lynn. We have to get Lynn's book. Lynn is going to give us copies of those books. Alan, I'll just put that out there.
What
We said,
about the audience? Where can they get a hold of Lynn's
yes, where
book?
can you get that whole book? Sorry.
Oh, the book is actually being sold through Master Shah's website. It's
Oh,
in our
okay, great.
store, so you can find the book there, bringing spiritual wisdom to your daily work. And if you want a non-hard copy version, like I can actually send it to you because
Yeah, I'm
I
fine.
it's
I don't have to have a hard copy version. What
good,
do
good.
you
Then I'll
mean
be
digital?
happy.
You're talking about digital?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
PDF, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I don't
It's
do
in a
digital.
PDF. It's in a
I
PDF
don't
file,
do
and
digital.
I'm very happy to give a copy to both of you.
No, no, I don't do digital. I literally have to hold the book in my hands.
Yeah, I know a lot of us are very
I
tactile. I
I
like
I
books
can't
too.
read.
Need a bookmark, right?
No,
Highlight. Yeah.
no, no, I don't
Yeah.
highlight. I can't read. I can't read books and stuff online. I just can't. I don't. And if I have to go back and so forth, I'm a physical book person. This is actually
Yeah,
my book. I'm a physical book person, so I don't do
wonderful.
PDFs. Sorry, I have an ebook for mine too, but I just can't read a book. My eyes can't handle it. It's bad enough I have to look at this computer all day in Kindle, but definitely a physical book. So anyway, do check it out. Definitely, those are words of wisdom. So that's all I can say. And I want to thank each and every one of you again.
Thank you.
And until next time, this is Dianne and Alan and Lynn saying, we wish you the best and all the success with your business. You reach out to the souls of your client. Reach out to our souls. We could be your clients. You could be our clients, but reach out to the soul. And if there's a fit, that's where the connection and the marriage happen, just like a soulmate. That's a whole nother story for another show. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening on the experiential moment. Until next time, we love always having you and have a great evening. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.